Hello and welcome to another Evening Beat. I hope everybody is having a great Wednesday. I'm joined with meteorologist Sarah Gannon because today the big story was the weather. So I just wanted to bring her in here, and I know that she jotted down a whole bunch of snowfall totals.
Guys. Can't really see it, but
it's
all there.
It was really nasty out there for a little bit. I was out at 5, you were outside at 5, and both of our hairs are looking a little bit
I don't know if my hair is looking
funny.
all right. We're getting kind of
It was very wet outside.
Wash day, but you know, you throw some hairspray in there, get a little wet.
But while I was waiting for you to be ready, I want to pull up the MnDOT maps right now, just because I was looking at and definitely in the Mississippi
conditions too.
Okay,
so,
well, perfect.
Yeah, let's dive
well,
right
definitely
into
in the Mississippi
MnDOT.
Valley, you know, roads are not looking too good right now. I believe. Let's see, pink means partially covered?
Completely
covered.
So in some of those notes that you'll see, a lot of them have snow-covered roads. We're still looking at some strong winds in the area. So I think the potential for blowing snow will gradually begin to decrease here once we lose once the snow kind of stops, we'll lose that part of the issue. However, we may still see that potential for some blowing snow across the roads. But with how wet and heavy the snow is, I don't think it'll be a huge concern. However, you know, still something to keep in mind.
Yeah, not too many crashes on the road at this hour. A few on I-90, some vehicles that spun out, another spin out. Yeah, all of them looking like spin outs. I see there's one down here. That one's a crash on County Road 30. Let's take a quick look at Iowa.
Yeah, and Iowa was having some of the worst conditions there. Yeah, you can still see part of Highway 18 between Mason City and Charles City. Travel not advised. So, and you can even see further to our southwest there towards Fort Dodge, towards Rockwell City,
Webster City.
All of that is travel not advised. So, and then there's towing bans. Like my guess is plows probably pulled in those areas until maybe that snow kind of lightens up and they can get a better grasp handle on things. But not fun conditions out there. When it comes to driving on those roads, we're looking at that blowing snow. We're looking at that blowing snow, that heavy snow as it comes down. Just kind of a lot of things all at once. So it's not, so you know, snow-covered roads, and then you get the heavy burst that comes down, and you still have the wind that's pushing everything around, and it just makes for not a good situation to be out on those roads. So I'm hoping everybody, I know a lot of schools were closed in the area for today, so I hope everyone, or a good chunk of people, were able to stay off of the roads, kind of stay home, take it easy, enjoy a little snow day. But I know there are still some folks that they have to be on the road. They still have to go to work. They still have to get things taken care of. I mean, we're one of those folks that, you know, we have to go to work, and, you know, someone's got to be here to do the news and do the weather and keep everybody informed and updated. So
let's see the snowfall totals. I'm really curious to see how much we got, because everything was kind of blowing around.
It was, and that's what makes it hard too, is when we have a system with the blowing, is that can kind of skew those totals as well. But with how moisture dense the snow was, you know, it didn't necessarily accumulate right away. Like on the roads,
it's very packed down immediately.
Yeah, so we started seeing some melting initially, not only because of the changeover from rain to snow, but then because the ground is starting to warm up. We've had such a warm stretch of weather. Then as it makes contact on the ground, it's kind of melting initially. So it took a little bit for it to kind of get to accumulate on the road, but on the roads, then it was mostly slushy and just kind of yucky and easy to slide, easy to see, you know, go in the ditch or in the other lane or something. But, you know, so you see we're seeing a lot of the snow kind of accumulating on those cooler, elevated, grassier surfaces. So that's where I would say would be the better opportunity to do some measurements to make sure that you're getting an accurate measurement. But in no particular order, I didn't quite have enough time to get everything kind of put into a graphic, but I'll just kind of list off some totals, and feel free to drop in the comments too. I think YouTube has comments.
Yes.
Yeah, they have some comments in there. So if you happen to drop any in there, I can definitely drop those. You just kind of mark it down. But Spring Valley, 7 inches, 6.8 in Austin. Buffalo Center, Iowa. So this is in Winnebago County, just kind of close to the border there with, I believe it's Kossuth County. just kind of on our western edge. 11 inches. That
Wow.
was the highest one in our area. The next closest one from that, Wyckoff in Fillmore County. No, Wyckoff is in Mower County. Excuse me. 9.5 inches there. From there, St. Charles, 8.3 inches. About 8 inches in Chatfield. 7 inches in Caledonia. Peterson, 6.5. Roughly about that in Fillmore. Chester, about 6 inches. Waukon, Iowa, in Winnebago County, about 3 inches there. Casson, about 3.5. 3 inches in Manorville.
How much did we get in Rochester? I might have missed it when you said it.
Oh, I haven't said that one yet. I kind of had that one towards the end here, but kind of a range across Rochester, and that was something that we talked about in the morning show
Yep.
and in the noon show. North Rochester may be getting lesser amounts than, say, South Rochester. I don't have a total yet from the Rochester International Airport yet, but here at KTDC, I measured about 2.5.
Okay.
Here at the station. So
It was quite the difference, because at 5 o'clock I was down and I was in downtown Rochester, and it was blowing and everything was going all over the place, and it was really coming down, or at least I think it was coming down. It might have just been blowing at that point. But then we made it, not even 30 minutes later, we had made it up back towards the KTTC studio in Northwest Rochester, and it was completely calm.
Right, and I noticed that too. So I was out for the top of our broadcast at the 5 o'clock for start of the show, and we had heavy snow moving through them. So we had the heavy snow moving from North Rochester through downtown into South Rochester, and it was coming down pretty good. And then at the top of the 6 o'clock hour, so just an hour time span, done. There was no snow at the 6 o'clock, top of the 6 o'clock. But so I think about 2.5 here at KTDC, and I think our range across Rochester, from what I've seen, is about 2 to 6 inches.
Okay.
So I have not seen yet a total from the Rochester International Airport. I'm hoping I get that here soon, so we can talk about it, at 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. So that's kind of the range that I'm having, that I have Rochester in right now. Anywhere from, say, 2 to 6 is what we're looking at. So
And what can we see for tomorrow? Because I think it's supposed to get back up into the high 40s pretty quickly here this week.
yes, by Friday we should be back in the mid to upper 40s. Tomorrow, looking at sunshine. Beautiful day, very, very pleasant day. We'll see seasonal temperatures into the upper 30s, maybe a couple low 40s. With our new fresh blanket of snow, I'm not expecting it to last very long because temperatures will be above freezing. So that'll start the melting process very quickly.
Thank goodness. I was not looking forward to the snow, so I'm glad that it's not going to stick around for too long.
Right.
And I think it's okay, because now we're getting into the later part of March, so it's okay for me to be over the snow.
yeah. But in addition to that, because now we have that fresh blanket of snow, it may hinder our temperatures from getting super warm. So I think it'll kind of maybe limit our temperatures a little bit, but I think tomorrow looking pretty seasonal into the upper 30s, maybe a couple low 40s, but it'll be interesting to see now how our new blanket of snow kind of interacts with our temperatures.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on Evening Beat. Again, you were with us last night and you're here again tonight. We appreciate your time and your forecasting. You and Derek and everyone on the weather team has been tracking everything very closely. So
this one definitely a very complex system. We had thunder snow today, not just a little bit, because I've seen some systems where we've had just a little bit, you kind of get those couple rumbles, you have like a half hour window where it's possible, and that's kind of it. We had this continually throughout the mid-morning into the like early afternoon. Just several reports of thunder snow across parts of southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. Just a very complex, potent system. There was a lot going on, and thunder snow is a bit more of a rare occurrence, but it can just show how complex and intense the system is. So certainly a very spring-like system to roll through here.
Last week it was thunderstorms. This week
Yep.
it's a winter storm. Next week it'll probably be another thunderstorm, and then who knows? Mother Nature is probably going to have another winter storm up her sleeve before we get those nice sunny and 75 days. So, all right. Well, thank you, Sarah. We have to move on to our next story for this hour. I will let you
Sounds good.
go so we can get into our next one. All right. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate your help. All right, so another big story at this hour, the Rochester Police Department is requesting the public's help in finding a missing Rochester woman. She's 44 years old. Her name is Sarah Hicks. She was reported missing from her home early this morning. RPD added that the family and friends have not heard from her since February 23rd, when she made a Facebook post stating she was not taking her prescription medication. Hicks's vehicle, a gray 2011 Ford Fusion with a Minnesota license plate of RJT158, is also missing. RPD described Hicks as 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighing 150 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. If anyone knows where Hicks is or happens to see her or her vehicle, they are asked to contact authorities. And continuing coverage on a story that we first brought to you yesterday, a Minnesota state senator who has been federally charged now for allegedly soliciting prostitution from a minor. Republican State Senator Justin Eichhorn was arrested on Monday in Bloomington. The 40-year-old from Grand Rapids, that's up in the Iron Range of Minnesota, allegedly responded to an ad for prostitution services placed by an undercover officer. According to court records, Eichhorn thought he was meeting a 17-year-old girl who he planned to pay for sex. Now, Eichhorn was charged with soliciting prostitution from a minor over the age of 16 in Hennepin County. However, because the federal charge was also filed, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office has dropped its case, which is common practice. All right, so that is your top 3 stories at this hour. We had a winter storm, a missing woman, and then the state senator who has been federally charged. Thank you so much for joining me on another Evening Beat. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 7:30. I will let everybody go, and I hope they have a great Wednesday night. I will see you